Thank you, Terry, for a wonderful presentation, and thanks to all the members of our team that have made presentations today. So at this point, we would like you, if you have questions, to please type them into the question and answer box, and we will try to respond to your questions. I think maybe Rachel or Kerry, if you could help to read the questions, that would be helpful.
Yes, there aren't any at the moment, but we
Yeah.
give the audience
Yeah, and then in the meantime, just in the interest of time, I want to sort of begin just closing this out because I know we've already exceeded some of our time limits. So the first thing is really to thank all members of our WPI community. For me, this is truly a magical community. It's a magical place where I have found just great innovation, creativity, positive attitude. In a place that I've always said is where I found all the things that I value most in education. And I think you can see from just all the individual responses and the group responses, just how special we are in how we connect to our students, the ways in which we work together as a community, and the ways in which we innovate with technology. I also want to use this opportunity to thank Sienna Jaffe, Mary Beth Harity, and Patty Patria for making all this wonderful technology available to us to do virtual reality and all sorts of amazing things in our classrooms and in our labs and in the ways we engage. But really hats off to our colleagues in the humanities and arts, and in business for bringing life into online learning in ways that make me wish I was still in the classroom. Rob, I loved the recreation there and the music videos, the throwback to the last century or so when I think we were on the dance floor. It was truly wonderful. And it was great to see the creativity of humanities and arts folks under Kate Moncrief. You know, I was at the play and I had my mouth open all throughout this whole thing. And just amazed to see just the level of professionalism and really how meaningful this theme of mental well-being was covered in this play. Truly amazing work. And I want to thank really all of our faculty for making this a wonderful place to learn, no matter what you're learning. And to use the era of COVID as an era to really take our innovation and our creativity up to an even higher level that I think represents part of how we should see the future of education. Now, as we've done all this, the other thing that's also been amazing to me is we have a whole bunch of folks worried about the teaching outcomes and the well-being of our students, faculty, staff, who've done surveys that are now informing the things that we need to do as a community. The real message from this, and this is work done by Chris Demetri, Katie Elms, Kim Le Chasseur, Steve Taylor, Ed Gonzalez, and others, is that we actually have data that really shows us that our community is under stress. And we are. People are great and they've responded, but they're under stress. They're teaching, they're doing research, they're being mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and caregivers. And so the only way that this works is when we show flexibility and understanding to each other, and we don't put unnecessary added stress to build on that initial state. And so I really urge everybody to continue to be flexible and understanding and supportive, and to really think about the health and well-being of our community. And I urge you all to participate in the yoga. I thought about it, but I was damaged. I was worried about the damage I'll do to my muscles, which are certainly the wrong fixed state. But really, I want to use this as an opportunity to thank Kate Moncrief, Dean King, for making this part of what we do at WPI. I want to thank Charlie Moss and Philip Clay and Emily Perlow and all the folks in student life for really contributing in very meaningful ways to the health and well-being of our community. And for John Sambamatsu for raising the issue of student well-being and making sure that we continue to make this important focal point for our efforts. And quite honestly, every time I go for my COVID tests, I'm amazed by the organizational capacity of WPI and all the folks that dreamt this up over the summer. I am totally impressed by the CERT team that keeps us safe and keeps thinking logistically about how we adapt, and the Medical Advisory Board and all the great people such as Gene King and Mani Hall that bring cutting-edge medical information to inform what we do. But I'm truly grateful to the WPI team for getting us this far. And I have to say, for this particular event, really must give total credit to Rachel Roy, our master producer behind the scenes, who knows somehow just how to get everybody together to do an amazing job. As we go forward in the few days ahead before Thanksgiving, I want you to remember the following image. WPI is a bubble within a bubble. What do I mean by that? We are still living through this COVID era, and we have the pandemic raging across the community. And within that context, Massachusetts is doing really not bad, but WPI within Worcester, within Massachusetts, is a bubble. Please be safe as you connect to the world beyond the bubble, and think about all of us within the bubble and how we can continue to keep each other safe. Part of this is practicing things we know scientifically to be correct. Really do not connect to communities that you don't need to connect to at this time, because that represents risks to your families and risk to us. And as you enforce the conditions that we need to enforce to keep ourselves safe, please continue to really maintain this spirit of innovation, this positive spirit, and let that really be what the students come into contact with, and show each other utmost understanding and respect for the different situations that we find ourselves in. And I'm totally convinced that if we do this, we will get through this pandemic and we'll continue to celebrate the greatness of WPI in so many different ways in the weeks and the months ahead. So with that, I want to thank all of you for being part of this session. I want to thank really our wonderful, wonderful presenters for their contributions. And I wish you all, happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday season. Take care, everybody, and be safe.